We spent the past couple of years in a crazy hot market. Louisville home sales decline as demand outpaces supply. Effective communication is at the core of any situation. If you master these two ideas, you'll have a chance of being successful at residential real estate marketing. I think you need to be looking for investment opportunities that move the needle. The market will never crash if demand exceeds supply. This is what I've been telling you all along.
This is the Jay Pitts Show. And we're back, folks. Welcome back to the Jay Pitts Show, Talk Radio 1080, Real News, Real Talk. I am your host, Jay Pitts, here with Ryan Harris. Ryan, what's up, sir?
Figuring this thing out. Yeah.
Dude.
Almost got caught a couple times in the last episode,
it's like riding a bike.
Hammer Hank.
Hammer and Hank.
Hammer and Hank.
Yeah, see, it's not even, you can't even put the G on there. It's just like got the little,
It's like those states you say the wrong way and it makes people super mad, or how people say Louisville.
It's Colorado. Did you know that?
Illinois.
See, I don't do that. Colorado will get people from Colorado.
I've never even heard of that.
I say Colorado, and that's apparently very wrong.
What is it?
It's supposed to say Colorado. Rad.
I don't believe you.
Okay, ask Luke Andrews. He lived there for a while.
He's not from there, though. That doesn't count.
Well, Kristen, his wife, her family is from there.
All right.
Originally. So
I'll hear it from them then.
You should. Don't take my word for it. Don't take my word for anything. I'm really good at absorbing information and regurgitating, but don't take my word for it. It'll be all right.
All right. We got a good show coming.
Yep.
As always, we'll do a story from the field. It's a pretty lengthy one, and I don't know. We're gonna dive into that. It'll be good. We're going to talk about how Americans are working more part-time jobs, remote work's making homes more expensive, supposedly. We'll talk about that. Mm-hmm. And then U.S. home prices fall for first time since 2012. I'll be shocked, actually, if we get to all these, knowing us. I'm going to talk about some icks that realtors get immediately walking into a home.
So for those not
27
or under, explain what an ick is for me. We'll do that later.
Article, yeah, let's do it later because we won't get through everything if we talked about that now.
Okay, all right. Always trying to take us off topic.
All right, story from the field. Let's get to it.
Go for it.
All right, so this agent posted this in a Facebook group I'm in. Don't know why, actually. Agents post some things they do here, but we'll read it. They said, I got my best friend / maid of honor and her fiance pre-approved and showed them a few homes. Today I get a text from my preferred lender that she received a contract from them from another realtor. I'm so conflicted. Their excuse is that they thought the other realtor could get them a better deal, in quotes. Same financing. No rep agreement. This is my best friend of 12 plus years. There's an edit to it, but I digress. Let's talk about it.
You want initial comments?
Yeah.
Okay. So my initial comment, and I had not heard this, before this very moment. So this is pretty raw, but it's totally on point with what we do every day, especially myself as a broker. I get to hear these conversations. I get to hear these stories, like not from a Facebook group, but from an angry and upset real estate agent. They're going to put their license in escrow because they can't even get their best friend to buy a house from them. No, seriously. The consumer doesn't owe you anything as a real estate agent. They owe you nothing. I don't care how close you are to them. I don't care. I often tell an example of the very first, and hopefully he will listen. He's a very successful real estate agent and broker in town now. The very first agent I ever hired came to me a few months in to his career after he'd left a banking job to come work with me. And in the course of a weekend, he found out that his best friend and not maid of honor, but best man in his wedding, listed their home with another agent and were looking to purchase a home with another agent. That very same weekend, when he got his license, like probably 3 or 4 months before, his father's house was listed and on the market with his long time, used the person 5 or 6 times over the course of life, real estate agent, his realtor, right? His tried and true. The listing expired and he had obviously hoped or presumed that his father would list the home with him if the listing expired. This was back in the days when listings actually expired. So after 6 months, the listing expired and he relisted with the tried and true. So best friend, best man, and father over the same weekend. Like, the dude, when I saw him, he looked like he'd been kicked in the stomach. And I said to him, man, you don't want to hear this, but they don't owe you anything, right? You can be hurt. I get it. I'm not going to tell you not to be. But the truth is, they just don't wake up every day and think of you as the solution to their real estate needs. And that's on you.
That's exactly what I was just going to say.
That's on you,
Yeah.
right? You haven't created that perception. You haven't talked to them enough. You haven't educated them enough. You haven't shown them that you're credible, right? You haven't had a lot of time in the industry. So, in fairness, you haven't had a lot of time to accomplish these things. So it's either an inevitability that you just don't want to accept, right? Or you haven't done what you need to do to make it happen, right? So that's where I go with this, okay? The reason that the client gives is irrelevant. They say whatever they think in the moment when you confront them. They don't know that they're getting a better deal. It was probably availability. It was probably some circumstance that they have potentially, like finances are not as good as they thought they were, or blah, blah, blah. They don't want to share their warts with their best friend. There's always reasons for this, but
yeah, what Jay's talking about here, this person came back and edited the post and said a mutual friend who's not in the industry convinced them his realtor could get them thousands off a home. Guess that's why they chose to consult with the other agent. And then said some other stuff that's kind of irrelevant, but
that's so funny because I didn't even go down and read that. But so how did they get access? Why did they even consider speaking to someone else?
Yeah, you have to look at yourself first. And I completely agree with everything you said. It's completely on the agents. And a lot of times, I don't think agents realize working with friends and families sometimes is the most stressful deals.
Sometimes it's harder.
And some agents choose not to even work with them. Now, I don't agree with that necessarily. Yeah. I think if you believe you're the best realtor option out there for them, you should absolutely try to get their business. But
no, I think you should. I don't think you should give it up. But I think some clients refuse to work with personal relationships,
which is completely understandable.
I mean, if that's what they want, that's what they want. It's their choice, right? Your job's to educate. If you don't educate, you can't have any expectation. I've lost countless friends, business to other real estate agents. Countless. It happens. As accomplished as I am today, it still continues to happen, right? And
especially in a town like Louisville.
Dude, I lost a client, probably one of my best clients ever. Their daughter is buying a house from another agent in our office right now. called them through Zillow, and then called me afterwards and said, hey, I'm going to do this. I was really excited to hear that the agent we got from Zillow worked for you. And I was like, okay. What do I say?
Also, it's consumers don't really understand
the
brokerage model.
They don't at all. But the thing is, she was prepared to meet with anybody. It just so happened to be one of them. And that's fine. That's fine. You know what she told me? Because I helped them sell a really expensive home, helped them buy a more expensive home. Their daughter was buying a less expensive home. They thought, oh, well, we see how successful and all the things you're doing, and you know how busy you are, and we just didn't want to bother you. I mean, gosh, I never gave these people any reason to believe that I wasn't available to them, but they still thought that.
It's a good It's a good problem to have to successful.
So here's the thing. Here's the thing, Ryan. If I didn't want that to happen, were there decisions that I could have made, activities I could have, been a part of, things I could have done to leave them in a position where they never would have forgot about me? There absolutely were. I mean, I say this all the time. Hannah got a really good video of me saying this the other day, talking about parenting. There's always a decision you could have made or something you shouldn't have done that would have made the situation better. You can't put it on the other person. You just can't.
Yeah. Now, we'll say the specific story here that we went over. You showed them some homes and pre-approved, and they're about to be in your wedding, 12 plus years. They don't owe you anything, but you might want to find a new best friend.
You want to find new friends.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's
kind
acceptable.
of a rough one there.
That's acceptable. It is rough, but dude,
Better get a good wedding gift.
you will never go wrong taking an outsized amount of accountability. You'll never go wrong.
I like that.
if you take more accountability than you should, you'll never go wrong.
Yeah.
Sage wisdom.
I mean, like you said, I completely agree with everything. You got to look at yourself first. You're clearly not doing something right if you even showed them homes, but it's a rough one.
Yeah, you didn't do something right. But you're right. Get better friends.
You mentioned Hannah earlier, getting a good video of you. Do you want to tell everybody who Hannah is?
Yeah, of course. Hannah Will is our in-house video person. She works really hard to make me look good on camera, and among other team members, Ryan included. Always down for that like last minute call. Hey, I need this video tomorrow. She got that call yesterday afternoon.
I was in the office. I heard that.
I was like, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do this.
I just found out too, she has a YouTube channel with over 3,000 subscribers.
Yes, she absolutely does, and puts out really good TikToks. She has a Burn Bright Productions is her wedding videography business. Did I say that right? Videography, right? Wedding videography. Well, I hear so many people butcher it and say videography. I'm like, did I mess up and not understand normal pronunciations?
It might just be me saying things wrong because I do that a lot.
So the thing that she did for me yesterday, I'm actually speaking in Nashville coming up, and she did a promo video for me because the production person just notified us yesterday that the video we told them we were going to use is not.
Was it the same one we used for this?
It is the same one we used for this, but it was because it was vertical. So Hannah knocked it out in less than 24 hours. All right. I think that's all we got for this segment, folks. We appreciate you tuning in. We will be right back after some advertising, some of our preferred folks right here on Talk Radio 1080. This is the Jay Pitt Show.
Welcome back to the Jay Pitt Show, Talk Radio 1080, Real News, Real Talk. I'm your co-host, Ryan Harris, with Jay Pitts. What's going on?
You know, man, just happy to be here. Talking trash, that's what I do best.
Talking trash.
I mean, I talk so much that I have to in my life, I have to at least admit to myself that not all of it is accurate.
Yeah. Good thing you're on a radio show now to catch it all.
We have to be very careful, very careful. I like to make all my mistakes in my personal life. That way my business life is perfect. What do you think about that?
No comment. I don't know.
No comment. Ask my wife. She would appreciate that comment.
I just
She's
got
like,
my
"Oh,
Girl Scout cookies, by the way.
Did you?
Yeah.
Nice. Did Evelyn? Did Hannah bring them to you?
No, they were in the office.
Okay. Yeah. So, this is a funny story behind the scenes at the Jay Pitt Show. There is a bag with a couple boxes of Girl Scout cookies with Ryan's name sitting on the table. And I say to Hannah, hey, if Ryan doesn't get these, let's make sure we take them tomorrow when we go record the radio show. And she's like, okay, sure. And I'm like, wait a minute. They're sitting over here. Both of us are going to forget. So I took them over and I turned them catty corner, on the little hutch, facing her desk. So she would at least see them. And she was like, that's probably good.
I walked by it, and I'm not kidding. I might not have been in front of it yet, and she reminded me. So.
Dude, it's money. It's money. See, this is how we do it.
They were good.
Yeah. Well, did you eat them all already?
No, I looked at the calorie count. 2 cookies.
It's probably
little cookies, 150 calories.
What kind did you get?
Samoas, the lemon ones. I can't remember the others, but the Samoas.
No tagalongs? So there's a controversy with the tagalongs. Do we know tagalongs? Hannah, do we know tagalongs?
Do those have peanut butter?
They're the peanut butter.
That's why I don't know.
You're not a peanut butter person?
Allergy.
You have a peanut allergy? I didn't know that. Okay. Learn something new every day. Well, here's the controversy. They're called tagalongs. They always have been, I think. Except in some places, they're now called peanut butter patties. It's like a
controversy.
It's like a Hardee's Carl Jr.'s kind of thing. I don't understand.
Do they actually have different names, or is that just
I have
slang
no
term?
idea, but somebody was telling me that this is a controversy. A bunch of people that wanted tagalongs thought they were discontinued. They didn't order peanut butter patties, and now they didn't get what they wanted.
Huh. Well, it doesn't affect me either way.
Girl Scouts of America needs to get it together on the naming. All right. Anyway.
All right. Away from Girl Scout cookies onto the U.S. housing market.
Yes.
So it came out, median sales price of a previously owned U.S. home slid in February for the first time since 2012. And it says offering some relief for buyers still faced with high borrowing costs. The median price slipped 0.2% in February from a year earlier to $363,000. So definitely playing with words there, thinking it's offering some relief. I mean, it's 0.2%.
These things. Like, I think my first reaction would be, this is probably news to people that have probably thought this happened a year ago or 8 months ago. Like, wait, what? I thought prices have been tanking. Like, we've always talked about the market's not crashing, right? People think literally, legitimately, that the market has crashed and that there has been this major correction. Did we do the article here about the wild misperception of U.S. homeowners, or was that just a video that I did?
I don't think so, no.
Like, I think we did a video on an article. I'll have to go back and find it. Maybe we can do that at the break. But like, homeowners believe the average price in the United States to be $100,000 less than it actually is. Like, they have a wild misperception of the value of property and the correction that has happened or not happened.
I wonder how much that differs from different areas of the country.
That would be intriguing to know. I think where you may be going with that is if you look at this graph in this article, they say in the byline, the subtitle is "Drop in median sales price was driven by declines in West and Northwest."
Yeah, the article actually said prices got more expensive in the Midwest,
which is where we are.
Yeah.
So, once again, posting gains. It also says the South, Midwest and South. So, price gains in the Midwest and South. I mean, look, the country is a big place. Like these headlines, and this is Bloomberg, so it's pretty trusted. I mean, I don't think this is the worst and misleading stuff. But, I just, again.
Well, everybody used the same heading for it. I mean, title,
Yeah.
Any article you find, it's home prices fall year over year for the first time since 2012. But, I keep coming back to that 0.2%. 0.2%. I bet there's a lot of people out there right now that would be so happy if they only lost 0.2% in any kind of investment over the last year.
Yeah. But, even then, Ryan, I was thinking about that. So I had a meeting with a financial planner this morning, and I'm literally just, I hadn't looked at the stock market. What's it doing today? Oh, wait, we're at 32,250. Like, the Dow's at 32,250. Like, I mean, this is the crash that we're expecting. We're still, substantially north of 30,000. Like, I mean, do we not remember?
That's why rates just went up again.
I mean, I'm looking at a 5-year peak of 36.3. 36.3, so like a 10% correction. A 10% correction that we just got done talking about earlier, back in the 2019, 2020 timeframe. You used to talk about the expectation of a regular 10% correction. Bull markets run 20, bear markets pull back 10. 20 and 10, 20 and 10. Like, here we are. Like, this is not a crash. I mean, I get the banks are failing, and that's very, very unfortunate and concerning. And there are other things, there are signs of weakness in the economy, all over the economy. I just think everything we're experiencing is completely and entirely unprecedented. I don't know where we find normalcy anytime soon.
Yeah, I don't see it coming anytime soon either. I think, what I take away from this, and other people should, is, and most people know this, but don't headline read.
No. Please don't headline read.
Especially if you're in the Midwest.
Yeah, or South.
Yeah, or South.
I mean, that's 2 of 4 regions of the country that they're talking
only
about.
Half the country.
That's only half the country. I mean, only half the country posted gains while the other lost 0.2%.
Yeah. All right, what do you want to talk about next? What we got?
Dude, I don't know. It's on the line of real estate. Like, we can get slightly more local, but I think this is kind of a national spin. We've mentioned that the book of lists, list came out, and we were one of the only firms on the, in the greater Louisville market that posted a gain in 22 versus 2021. More specifically, I can tell you, we went to $423 million in sales versus $404 million in sales. Number 6 posted a loss. Number 5 posted a pretty substantial gain.
You want to explain what that list is?
Yeah, it's the list. It's the list of residential real estate firms by dollar volume sold. Okay, so basically, what is the most productive real estate firm for residential real estate out there as cataloged or combined or what's the word? Cataloged by the Louisville Business First, right? So number 1 was Simmons Realtors. Okay, number 2 was Remax Properties East. Number 3 was Schuler Bauer. Number 4 was Keller Williams Louisville East. Number 5 was United Real Estate. Number 6, Linehan Sotheby's. Number 7 is us, Remax Premier Properties. So we posted a gain. 6 posted a loss. 5 posted a substantial gain behind a huge agent count increase. Phenomenal there. Number 4 posted almost $120 million decline. $60 million decline in number 3. Pretty substantial gain in number 2. They acquired a couple of offices and a huge agent gain. Flat for number 1, Simmons Realtors. So awesome, right? I mean, we aside from Sotheby's, which is the most productive real estate firm locally, as defined by production per agent, we are far and away from everyone else in number 2. So the two of us are in a league of our own. Just eclipsed 100 agents, Remax Premier Properties. We did 1,562 sales. Every firm to the north of us, except for Sotheby's, has more than double of our agent count, right? So pretty crazy, right? Pretty crazy. And I want to tie this in. Real estate firms around the country are seeing reduced revenues because of fewer transactions, okay? As evidenced by this list, even the most successful are seeing pullbacks, right? You got 5 of the top 7 posting pullbacks. They're cutting staff, okay, because of reduced revenues. They're raising fees. Just saw where Real Brokerage, a cloud-based brokerage.
Yeah, you were just telling me about this.
Yeah, competitor startup to a startup competitor to EXP. Typically, we hear they just doubled their initiation fee, 50% increase in their annual fees, and cutting staff. Right, something they promised not to do, right, and had to in order to keep doors open. So you will continue to see this weird behavior. But what that will do is produce winners and losers. It's the same thing for your clients, right? The people that are prudent, the people that are prudent, the people that know what they're doing, that prepare, the people that are out there doing the activities to produce the results, they're going to have the success, both clients and realtors alike. That's kind of what I want to leave you with in this particular segment. We didn't talk about the local real estate market on this episode, but the national implications that we see in this article, okay, are having a trickle down, okay, to local real estate firms, even the most successful ones.
Just like the banks.
Just like the banks. All right, that's about all we got for this segment, folks. Appreciate you tuning in. We'll be right back after some of our sponsors for the Jay Pitts Show right here on Talk Radio 1080. Real news, real talk.
Welcome back to the Jay Pitts Show, Talk Radio 1080, Real News, Real Talk. I'm your co-host, Ryan Harris with Jay Pitts. Jay, I came across this article a couple days ago that I found pretty interesting, and it's relative to a lot of what we've talked about this show and last show. But it's about remote work is making more homes more expensive. That's what it's all about. Is remote work making homes more expensive? So they say here, part-time work is on the rise as more workers choose to step back from the grind, according to new data from the Labor Department. In December and January, 1.2 million more Americans said they were working part-time compared with previous months, the data shows.
Yeah.
And this all leads into remote work and part-time work. So do you believe part-time work, remote work is making homes more expensive?
I think the part-time work's probably driven by a lot of gig economy type stuff. I think that it's not uncommon, especially in younger generations, to have a side hustle, right? A side business. I wonder how much of that is included. We don't really know entirely where all this is coming from, this data. I think, let's just say, do I think they're working more side jobs? Absolutely. It seems apparent to me, how many industries have been displaced by side hustle type gig work like Uber and Lyft, and that's just probably the most primary example. So I think that's there. I don't think you're seeing people do, retail night shifts, after they work 9 to 5 in an office quite as much. That seems like that is on a decline. I think probably you're talking about what we really need to talk about is it making homes more expensive?
Yeah.
Here's my thought. We talked earlier about the two regions of the country that have posted gains in home prices versus the other two that have seen a decline. I think if you look in major metros where price per square foot is double, triple, quadruple what it is here in middle America, space is at such a premium that if you have dedicated work from home space, it absolutely is driving prices up. It's driving demand for more expensive homes. Here, where there's a surplus of space in a median home price is $275. $275 will get you approaching 1,800 to 2,000 square foot home, depending on location.
Yeah.
You can find dedicated workspace in 2,000 feet as long as you don't have 6 family members or 7 family members. Like, you can make that work. So I don't think it's driving prices here at all. In fact, I think it's making the home that you're buying more efficient because you're not using a formal dining room, so it might as well be your office. You're not using a formal living room because this is not the 1970s. You don't sit in the room with the books and the really nice furniture and have tea. People don't do that anymore. People congregate in common areas.
I have a confession. I want that.
You want a formal living room? Really nice furniture to sit and talk?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why not?
He's a conversationalist, guys. I mean, imagine that.
Sitting here, we can maybe do our show.
We can
there.
just do our show there,
Let me ask you this: what percentage of people do you think are still working from home part time or full time?
I think flex days are like a real thing. Like it is, from what I can tell. You have.
If you had to throw a number out,
if I had to complete flyer of a guess, I'd say between 50 and 75% of workers. I think probably 50% are full in office 100% of the time, and probably another 50 are some sort of flex schedule.
Yeah, that was a great politician answer right there.
50%.
I asked you for a number and you go 50 to 75. So it's pretty good there. So
you have maintained that I should get into politics, and I will absolutely never do that.
Yeah. I mean, that was a great answer to that. But it was more closer to the bottom, to the 50s. So a study from the National Bureau of Economic Research analyzed remote work data from December 2019 to November 2021 and found that by the end of that period, so it's about a year outdated, 42.8% of Americans were still working from home.
Okay. It was a trap question, is what you're telling me. You set a trap for me.
You trapped yourself.
Trapped yourself. Here. Let me tell everybody why you're wrong after you guess. That's what that situation. No, I get it. It's fine.
That's
fine.
The people that ask politicians questions.
It's okay.
Good dynamic.
The good political answer would have been, well, Ryan, let's discuss why you're asking that question. I think probably why we're asking that question is that more Americans are working from home since the pandemic, and some have gone back, but some haven't. So, it's a great question. We'll get to that later. That would have been the political.
Yeah, turn the question back on me.
Yeah, ask the question back to the questioner. All right. So is it making, final verdict, it's not making real estate in middle America more expensive. Maybe in the coasts, maybe in New England, maybe in Southern California. Doubt it though. I think it's more like big city high rise type situation.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's kind of a trend of this show that when we come back to real estate or talk about real estate, it's just so different across the country. And a lot of these headlines you read and titles or articles that are going to come across your eyes are going to be talking about the country as a whole and mainly those major cities. So it's just important to know it's probably not what's going on in wherever you're from.
No, it's just so different market by market. I was just had the thought as we're sitting here, I was going to Google and see if I could come up with something. Because I read an article the other day about San Francisco real estate. the market there is so interesting. We have to devote like probably a segment to San Francisco real estate, especially commercial real estate.
That would be cool.
Because like there's an obscene amount of San Francisco office space that just sits completely empty. It was the subject of an article that you and I discussed about converting office to residential space. And there's a lot of people out there that would have you believe that that's like the great equalizer, right? Like that's the answer. Like it was the same people that said that, you know, what were Blockbuster videos going to be? There was this huge thought that all the video rental stores were going to be the same thing. I forget what it was. It'll hit me in a minute.
There's no way I know your answer.
And it just never materialized. Just like never happened. So I don't think office space is going to get converted to apartments in big cities or the like. I don't see it. It's just materially different needs, and to retrofit those spaces it's
probably just the same cost as if you were to build a new building.
It probably is. Now, you know, locations are sometimes quite premium, so you can make a case for that. But yeah, man, I don't think work from home is going to supplant. We've talked in prior episodes about the value of culture and being somewhere in person, and how, when you get it right, it's just too valuable. It's just too valuable.
Yeah. I was reading another article too. I don't have it pulled up today, but talked about how new build apartments is a big trend. You know, instead of buying apartments, people are building new ones, and they're building them smaller as well. The square footage across the country of apartments is getting significantly smaller, and of course, San Francisco saw the biggest decrease year over year, and I think the average new build apartment in San Francisco is like 665 square feet or something.
I mean, it's been one of the most pricey real estate markets around, just with access to Silicon Valley and all that. Like, yeah, it's pretty crazy. I could see that. I could see smaller footprints for rental property. I mean, especially a space that you're not going to occupy forever. You're just going to rent for a while. I could see taking less space to be where you want, because, I mean, all these apartment developments that you're talking about, especially in a market like San Francisco, it's infill. It's with what land is available surrounding. It's not retrofit. It's not turning office into apartments. It's where can we fit apartments? And the smaller you make them and the more you get, the more viable the project. Speaking of, I did just pull up 21 million vacant square feet of office space currently. This is actually January of 23. 21 million, which accounts for, let's see. Yeah, no, I was going to say a percentage, but yeah, that's not what I thought. I thought it was 24%, but I bet it's higher than that. I bet it's closer to 50%.
I think it's going to grow too.
I mean, a lot of startups are leaving.
Well, and just, you know, the bank issues too.
It's a big banking city. It's a huge banking city. Isn't the Fed in San Francisco? The West Coast Fed? I think the West Coast Fed is in San Francisco also. But, I mean, you know, anyway. I mean, the Fed is there because banking industry is there, is my point.
Makes sense. All right, real quick. Got about a minute left.
Go for it.
Maybe we'll try to keep doing this in some other shows. I'm going to bring up a real estate ick and see if you agree with it. So we're walking a house, strong scent plug-in.
Yeah, definite ick.
Yeah.
I mean, which obviously you could throw the smoke smell ick, right? It's awful. Like smoke smell inside a house. I think it's worse of a detractor. It might be the single most value detractor that we see.
Yeah, it might make sense to, even candles, it might make sense to light a lot of candles everywhere or plug these things in, make your house smell good. Let me tell you what the buyer thinks as soon as they walk in. And when you're a buyer, you probably think about this too, but they think you're trying to hide something.
Yeah.
Is there an animal smell? What's going on here? Why is there a candle in every single room?
All right, here's my ick. See if you agree. Sellers present during a showing.
Oh, yeah.
It's awful.
It's terrible.
Like, you can't, like, I want to talk to my client. I want to be honest. I'm not trying to say mean things about your home, but I want to be honest with them. And if you're there, we're not buying it.
And I do realize some people require their agent to be there, but it's probably only doing yourself a detriment.
The reason you hire a real estate agent is to remove yourself, okay, and add an air of impartiality to conversations and remove the emotion attached, because you cannot disassociate, right? It's yours. It's your personal business space, whatever. Like when somebody says something bad about it, you're going to get defensive. You don't want to be that. Nobody likes things exactly the way you do. We're all different. Like you can't be there. Your agent can be there. The agent can step away. I can deal with an agent there. I can't deal with a seller there.
Yep. All right. We're going to cut to a couple minutes of ads, and we'll be back to the Jay Pitt Show, Talk Radio 1080, Real News, Real Talk.
And we're back, folks. Welcome back to the Jay Pitt Show, Talk Radio 1080. Here with my co-host, Ryan Harris, doing some more real estate icks. So this article that Ryan pulled out, the real estate ick article, which you never told us what icks were.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, what's an ick? For everybody.
So, it's funny about this.
I can't believe I know.
I think this article says something. It starts out, here's how the article starts out. Kids these days will tell you the ick, in quotes, is a sudden turnoff, oftentimes caused by something obscure. While TikTok mostly serves up stories about the ick as it pertains to dating, it's a term that can easily be applied to the real estate world. So thank you, article. That's what an ick is.
That's a good definition. It's a pretty good explanation. And TikTok is probably which is probably, as we saw a minute ago, they're on Capitol Hill right now. Might be getting banned as we speak. My app may not open when we leave here. But so here's one that it lists, and I must agree, is cocky photos of real estate agents, of listing agents. So, it talks about the cliche of the luxury car dripping in diamonds, big Rolex, that kind of thing. Here, I'm gonna spin that a little bit, okay? Because I'm sure somebody will accuse me of the same thing, even though I wear an Apple Watch and I drive a truck and I wear polo shirts, not 3-piece suits. But I'm sure somebody would say that I have a big ego. That's okay. I'm going to say when the real estate agent gets themselves purposely in the listing photos that they put on the MLS.
Yeah, I know a few people.
There's a couple of guilty ones, and I'm going to tell you how they do it. They always take a picture of the bathroom, and they get just a little bit in the shot to where the reflection in the mirror gets them in the frame.
Oh, I think there's something don't even do it on accident.
Oh, that's not... I would be willing to say it's not on accident, but we're going to leave that there.
Yeah.
It's, I tell you another ick. Showing a house and leaving your card on the kitchen counter. That's a major ick for me.
Oh, I mean, what's that going to do?
Well, here's what I'm going to tell you what it's supposed to do. The air quotes.
Where do people learn that from? So
the air quotes definition of why they do that is that so the seller knows who's been in their home. They can, if there's proof that someone was there, they can rest assured knowing that it wasn't just some random blah blah blah. Here's why they really do it. Back in the days when listings would expire often, they wanted them to know who had a client that was potentially interested, because if the listing expired, they had the card, they could always call back the agent that showed it. They might get a crack at the listing the second time around. Now it's probably like, hey, I get tired. Number one, you sign a bilateral contract. The agent that you're with doesn't have to let you out of that contract, but most will, because they don't want to work with a client that's not, excited to be working with them. So now they think, oh, if you fire your agent, you might call me and I'll get the listing.
So these are back in your day.
You have to remember. I'm significantly older than Ryan, but I also started following the real estate industry at a very young age. So I'm not saying I'm not old. I'm just not as old as I know what icks are.
Yeah, you got that down. You're on TikTok, man. Come on.
Yeah,
try to act like you're not.
I know some things. I'm pretty observant.
You are. Yeah.
Pretty observant.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's people even my age that don't know what ick is, though. So
yeah. Well, there you go.
Do you have any more?
I'm sure I have
some.
I'm sure I have many. Give me one of yours.
It's kind of along the lines of pictures of agents, but it's agents that go into Facebook groups and ask which picture is the best. Which one should I use for my business card? And if you're doing that, one, you don't have enough business. Sorry. Two, you're not at a good brokerage. If you have to go to a Facebook group and ask what headshot's the best to use for your business card, I mean, come on.
I know what you're talking about. It's so funny. I like this one here in the article where they say sellers adding emotional tax to the price of their house.
Yeah.
That's just like,
Very real.
you know, my view of the shopping center behind the house is better than my neighbor's view. Like, it's like no view, but like it's still worth more somehow. It's just everybody thinks their stuff is worth more, and we're used to that. It's not an ick, really. But
No, that one's funny though.
I've never heard it said emotional tax. That's pretty funny.
You know, I'm sure you're the same as me. You look at real estate, and even the home you live in is an investment. Like, it's an investment, and some people don't look at it that way.
I tell you one that's slightly an ick for me. Slightly an ick on interior design. When you go in these people's houses and they have like the cursive letter words on the wall.
What
like
do people
sometimes
call that?
I don't know. I don't know what it is.
There's a term for those people. I
Is there?
can't remember what it is though.
Hannah just became a homeowner. Hopefully, I'm not like knocking her interior design taste. Hannah's got classy
it's
taste.
just like
she
they
does
bought every quote.
blessed.
Yeah.
It's always blessed. Blessed is the one.
Live, laugh, love.
There you go. There's that one. There's that one. All right.
Bought them all at Target.
We're not going to sell any more houses after this. We're just making fun of everybody. No, seriously though, we've seen all this stuff, man. It doesn't bother me. You choose to live how you choose to live. That's all good. Real estate agent icks, I could give them till the cows come home though.
Yep. All right. Let's wrap up here. Let's get into your entrepreneurial side, which we do sometimes. Mm-hmm. You own a few businesses. How do you set business goals for yourself? Is there a process? Is there like, man, I need this 1, 2, 3 things when I set a goal? What's that look like?
Yeah, that's so funny. I was looking at goals this morning and I'm trying to find, I'm a big spreadsheet guy. So like, where is it? I've got it in here somewhere.
Is it Excel or Google Sheets?
Oh, it's Google Sheets. Always Google Sheets because I can share it with everybody. Okay, so this is I have a work spreadsheet. It's called work. I've got it pulled over here. Look, work. That's just it, work. And then
in all caps.
In all caps, work. And that's just because it's an easy word to remember. And like if the tab gets closed, I can go in Google Drive and I can pull it up real quick. So this is the goals. And if you'll notice, I've got tabs down here, you know, of different things, right? Different companies, all this stuff. I'm just like a mind dump kind of dude, right? So like I'll pick a tab and that's just like something I'm working on, something I need to consider, something I need to be thinking about. Goals are always it. Goals are evolving for me. I hate, talk about icks, the arbitrary nature of setting goals at the beginning of the year. It really just is super frustrating to me because if something's worth doing, it's worth doing right now. You don't get to wait an extra 6 months before you start. You don't wait until Monday to start your diet. You don't get back in the gym after vacation. It's like, if you're going to do it, right? So that's where I'm at. You asked about business goals. This is business, but what I do is I start with personal. Because everything in my business, if I improve myself, the business follows. So that's health, that's, you know, well-being, that's spirituality, whatever, what have you. And that's how so I've got my son's goals. I've actually got a tab here for all my kids. I have a 3-year-old and he has goals. Not joking. And it's not like I tell him every day what his goals are, but like I have goals for him. Like he needs to get potty trained. He needs to get finish his potty training. Like that should be a goal. And the more I think about it, the more I'll talk to him about it and the more likely he'll get there. Right. He needs to learn how to swim. Like that's a goal for this year. So, but I segment sections of my life. Right. So for the kids here, I have school education. That's one. Sports, being a better brother, being a better son, being a better person, basically your behavior goals, your work goals. So like my son has business goals, right? And so I do the same thing for myself. I segment portions of my life to come up with goals. So, you know, whether that be, you know, real estate team, whether that be mortgage company, whether that be brokerage, whether that be personal production, I segment out sections of my business life. Those fall under the business umbrella. Okay. But I also have goals to be a better husband, goals to be a better father, goals to be in better shape, goals to, you know, all those things. Yeah. I have investment goals. I have learning goals, right? Like, one of my goals a couple years ago was to learn the stock market a lot better. I'm pretty adept at real estate investing, but I don't know the stock market as well. Did I achieve it? I don't know. Maybe I got a lot more knowledgeable. Am I far enough along? Probably not.
I'm interested to know what's your son's 10-year-old business goals?
So it's funny. First, he has a debt to repay. We're not going to get into what his debt is. We had an unfortunate iPad App Store situation. So he has a debt to repay. So his business goals are to earn enough money to repay his debt. So he had money saved, right, that he could just pay me back what he owed. And so he was very disappointed when we figured out what had happened. He really wasn't 100% aware of what he had done. And he was like, Dad, I'm so sorry. And he disappeared. And he comes back with the money. And I'm like, it's out of his like little pick, his little bank or whatever. And it's like money he'd saved up from grandparents and birthdays and stuff. I'm like, no, bud, it's not that easy. I was like, I'll take it for now and I'll hold it. This is your collateral. And I had an opportunity to teach him what collateral meant. And this is your collateral, but now you're going to work off this debt at $8 an hour. And so, you can do work for me. I will employ you, or you can earn money otherwise. You can pay me back in money earned or in hours spent. So this is the goal. The goal of this exercise for me is to teach him the value of time versus, the value of what you can do if you apply yourself in business. So last year, I'll give you one of his goals. He had a certain amount of money. He wanted to buy a certain thing. And I told him that we don't just save up until that amount. We save in excess of that because we have to allow for savings and investment, right? So we took basically what he needed, let's call it $200, and we added another 100 to it. He had to make 300 before I would allow him to buy this thing for 200. And we come up with like a little makeshift business plan. He was gonna do like the landscape refresh for the spring. He was going to pick up the sticks. He was going to he's going to pull the weeds. He's going to put out mulch. He's going to do the thing. Right. And so, everything went well until he had to buy tools. And I'm like, where's your money for tools? He's like, wait a minute. It's just, these are the lessons. I wouldn't say so much he has like long standing business goals.
Yeah.
But we have little sprints. You're in the startup world. You appreciate sprints. We have little sprint goals.
Yep. Sprints are very common. Let me ask you one question, then I'll let you sign us off. Will his wages increase with inflation, his hourly wage?
Will his hourly wage increase with inflation? Absolutely not, because let me tell you, I don't hold taxes. So the effective rate is actually quite higher.
I'm going to have to talk to him.
We're going to say this. And I was paid an obscenely low amount of money when I started. So if it's good enough for me, it's good enough for him. Right. Lessons learned, right? All right, folks, that's all we got for this episode of the Jay Pitts Show. We appreciate you tuning in. You can find us right here on Talk Radio 1080 every week. We will see you next week. Real news, real talk, real estate.